Hello student. Today I am going to discuss the topic of problem and prospects of large scale industries. And in first part of this video I am going to cover iron and steel industries and textile industry. And in the second part of this video I am going to cover sugar and cotton industry. So let us start our video. So a business can range from a single proprietor enterprise to a large corporation which employ thousands of workers across multiple countries. Based on the scale of business organization are classified as micro enterprise, small scale enterprise, large scale enterprise, public enterprise and multinational corporation. So here we talk about large scale industry. Large scale industries are industry with huge infrastructure, manpower and heavy capital of more than rupee 10 crores. Industries which requires huge infrastructure and a manpower with large capital assets are large scale industries. In India, large scale industries are the one with fixed assets of more than 100 million rupees or rupees 10 crores. So in India, heavy industries which are fall in the preview of large scale industries are iron and steel industries, textile industries, automobile manufacturing industries. In recent year, information and technology industries has evolved and contribute huge revenue while creating thousands of jobs for Indians. Telecommunication industries are also fall under these industries. Other industries like fertilizer industries, cement industry, natural gas, coal, tourism, banking, sugar, constructions. So there are four types of industries: the basic industries, the capital good industries, intermediate goods industries, consumer goods industries. And there are some advantage of large scale industry. We should know about the advantage of large scale industry, and that is it reduce problem of unemployment. It also increase the employment opportunities. Now there is a large scale industries help in proper utilization of resources. Due to the large scale of operation, they have the potential to lower the cost of goods, and also they create opportunity for small scale and cottage industries. It generates the sources of government revenue. They are generating fund for the research and development of new industries. And there is a large scale industries help in the development of basic infrastructure. And large scale industries also helps in modernization of agriculture sector. Large, Usually large scale industries produce capital and basic goods like instruments, machines, chemicals, etc. They provide an impetus for the industrialization of the countries. So what are the reason for the slow industrialization? One of the important reason for the slow industrialization is colonial rule for 200 years. Then there is scarcity of capital, shortage of skilled laborers, lack of infrastructure, shortage of raw material, and there is limited market for the product. Now we will discuss Indian iron and steel industry. So firstly we should know what is steel. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon and sometimes other elements like chromium. Because of its high tensile strength and low cost, it is a major component used in building infrastructure, tools, ships, trains, automobiles, machine, appliance, and weapons. Steel is the world's most important engineering and construction material. It is used in every aspects of our lives, in cars, in and construction product, in refrigerator, in washing machine, in cargo ships, and in surgical equipments. So there are the types of industry that fall under modern industries are um, there there are three manufacturers of steel. One is JSW, then Tata Steel, then SAIL, Durgapur Steel Plant, Bhilai Steel Plant. Now we will discuss the introduction of iron and steel industry. The Indian iron and steel industry is nearly a century old, with Tata and Iron Steel Company as the first integrated steel plant to be set up in 907. This steel industry is expanding worldwide. The economic modernization process in these countries are driving the sharp rise in demand for steel. Iron and steel industries in India is on upswing because of the strong global and domestic demand. The demand of an steel is increasing day by day. Increased rapid economic growth and soaring demand by sectors like infrastructure, real estate, and automobiles at home and abroad has put Indian steel industry on the global map. According to the latest report of International Iron and Steel Industries, India is the seventh largest steel producer in the world. So, the iron and steel industry in India is organized in three categories: main producers, other major producers, and the secondary producers. In 2004 and 5, the main producers are SAIL, TISCO, and RINL. Had a combined capacity of around 50% of the India's total steel production capacity. In total production of India's steel production, SAIL, TISCO, and RINL contribute 50% of the total production, and remaining 20% are contributed by SR Ispat and JVSL. During 2014 through 2015, India has the third largest producer of raw steel. The industry produced 91.46 million tons of total finished steel. The National Steel Policy 2005 is currently being reviewed, keeping in mind the rapid development in the domestic steel industry, both on the supply and demand sides. And price regulation of iron and steel was abolished on 16 January 1992. Since then, the steel prices are determined by the interplay of market force. Means the price of the steel has been determined by the forces of demand and supply. Steel plays an important role in the development of nation. Without iron and steel, maybe it's tough to design the construction of heavy building and transportation system such as rails, car, ships. So the industry produced 82 million tons of total finished steel and 9.7 million tons of raw iron. Currently, the major steel plant in India are Durgapur Steel Plant, Bhilai Steel Plant, and there are so many other steel plants. So let's see the current status of India's export of iron and steel. In 2004 and 5, the total production has 4.3 million tons. After that, it remains in 2005-6. It remains constant, almost constant, but at 2006-7 it rises. After that, we see that there is a continuous decline in the export of iron and steel. And in 2010 and 11, it declines to 0.857. So what are the reasons for such decline in the production of iron and steel? There are some reasons like capital requirement. Iron and steel industries requires large capital investment which a developing country like India cannot afford. Then there is lack of technology. Indian steel industries was characterized by high degree of technological efficiency. This technology was mainly from abroad. But due to oil crisis, there is a steep hike in energy cost and the cost of other input. So it reduced the margin of profit of steel plant, which result in the lower level of investment in technological development. The next is low productivity. The per capita labor productivity in India is at 90 to 100 tons, which is one of the lowest in the world. The labor productivity in Japan, Korea, and some other major steel producing countries is about 600 to 700 tons per man per year, which was almost greater than more than the double. Then is a shortage of metallurgical coal. Although India has a huge deposit of grade iron ore, coal reserves, her coal reserves, especially high grade coking coal for smelting iron, are limited. Many steel plants are forced to import metallurgical coal. For example, steel plant at Visakhapatnam has to import coal from Australia. Then there is a problem of inferior quality of product. So in this we can say that lack of modern technology and capital input and weak infrastructure facilities leads to a process of steel making which is more time consuming, expensive and yield inferior variety of goods. Such situation force us to import better quality steel from abroad. So now we'll come to textile industry. Textile industry. Textile industry is primarily concerned with design and production of yarn, clothing and their distribution. So what are the roles of textile industries in India? Textile industries contributes 4% of India's GDP. It contributes nearly 14% of India's industrial production. Textile industry contributes 12% to India's export earning. And textile industries also provide employment to over 35 million in the country. Current level of India's share in the world trade is 4.5. So, India's textile industry can be divided into cotton textile, silk textile, woolen textile, man-made fibers, handloom sector, jute sector. So there are some facts about Indian textile industries, that is India is the second largest producer of cotton and it is it has a 4% contribution to GDP. 14% of the contribution to industrial production and 17% contribution to export earning. Direct employment to more than 35 million people and it is the largest exporter of yarn. And who are the major players in textile industries? It is Welspun India Limited, Vardhaman Group, Bombay Dyeing, ITC Lifestyle, Reliance Industries Limited. What are the problems faced by textile industries in India? First is the plant and machinery and technology by a number of units are obsolete. Government regulations like the obligations to produce controlled cloth are against the interest of industry. The cotton yield per hectare of land is very low in hills. Competition from the man-made fibers and synthetics. There is huge competition with the man-made fiber and the synthetics. India has been facing severe competitions from other countries like Taiwan, South Korea, China and Japan. The industries face number of problems like power cuts, infrastructure problem, lack of finance, exorbitant rise in raw material price and production. So here we can conclude that India has potential to utilize inherent strength in textile industries to become a leader in digital textile printing. Business need to rethink marketing and branding strategies. So in our next part, this that's all for this class, and in our next part we will cover the sugar and cotton industry. Thank you so much for today. Goodbye and good luck.